and welcome back to the Weird and Proud podcast. It's Sam and
James.
Yams. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great week so far. We've missed you so much. Sam and James are here. We're here for you. We have a great episode. We have a weird episode, as always, and some good topics this week. A couple things that we've been chatting about. Really excited to chat with you guys about. So we're gonna talk who killed Robert Wone. Wone, I think is how you pronounce it. Wone. Documentary on Peacock. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll tell you when we're talking about it so that if you want to skip through or come back after you watch it, if you haven't seen it yet, we're going to chat about that. And it is absolutely wild. Also, I had talked about this on TikTok and talked a little bit on Instagram about one of my jobs as a radio caller girly. So I talked a little bit about it on my stories, but I used to basically be I was doing some voice acting and used to do some of these prank calls that were supposed to be, these normal people calling into radio stations and pretend to be these crazy people, and got hired to do them and how that all worked. So I wanted to give you guys some background to that and answer some of the questions that came up. And then, of course, we also have our great listener secrets. So we got some great stuff for you guys today. James, how you doing?
Well, that's a lot.
I know.
Life-changing stuff on this episode.
It really is. It really is. If it doesn't change your life, it'll be entertaining, to say the least. And it's weird. And that's what we're all about. We're here to be weird. And if you're listening to this on Monday as intended, well, not as intended, but when it comes out, we hope you had a great Easter, great Passover, great Ramadan, whatever you celebrate. Hopefully the Easter bunny or whatever, Jesus, whatever God was good to you.
And
He
the
has
bunny
risen.
and the Easter bunny.
And the Easter bunny. I know. I was trying to think if there's anything in Passover or Ramadan, but obviously I know nothing. I am ignorant. So we hope you had a great weekend, and we hope you have a great week, and we're very excited to chit chat, catch up on some things with y'all and some weird stuff that we've done this week. So James, how the heck are you? You hanging in there?
Great.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about some of the topics
seem
today.
So excited.
Very pumped.
Yeah, that's James' pumped voice. If you didn't know, that's when he gets really excited. You don't even want to see him when he is
focused,
depressed.
There's a lot. This is the Robert Wone especially. If you haven't gotten in that wormhole yet, it's worth it.
Yeah, because that's top of mind, let's just jump right into that one, because we were just talking a little bit about this before, and I wanted to leave some of it so we have some raw discussion on this documentary.
Do you know where I'd like to start with this?
What?
The quality of the Peacock app over other apps.
Wow.
I think that's important to discuss.
Hulu sucks balls. Their app is so horrible.
Well, Paramount Plus is worse.
Paramount Plus also sucks. You know what's funny is I saw something today that was like, what if all of these streaming apps just get together and make a new cable, and we're back to cable?
We already are. I mean, it already is happening. I've heard these discussions. And with YouTube, especially if you want to know where TV is going, just follow the NFL, because the NFL makes more money probably per anything than any TV entity being shown. And they are going to YouTube.
I know YouTube
and Google,
big.
owned by Google, purchased the NFL ticket. And you just follow what's going to happen there, and you'll know kind of where the future is going.
Yeah.
So Amazon is also very involved in the game, and their app is good, but their content is borrowed from everywhere else. So I wonder what they're going to do with that. But of course, with the Amazon Prime, you get so much more than just the app. The app is like a bonus.
Yeah,
right?
Totally. I know. And
they use it as an upsell.
Right.
But here's what I'll say. We have the Disney bundle because I get that with Verizon. And I love my ESPN stuff, so I get ESPN Plus, which I enjoy. I love Disney because I get The Mandalorian and all the old Star Wars and The Simpsons. Do I watch real Disney stuff? Only when you and Devin are here. But the otherwise, I'm on the sports, and you were worried I wasn't going to have a lot to talk about.
So I know, like now you're going off on the apps.
Well, this is the important stuff. We'll get to the whole.
Very passionate.
We'll
about
get to the show. Whatever. I like the value. Paramount Plus, hire some new programmers. You ain't doing
and Hulu.
Well.
Hulu also is pissing me off lately.
You could do better. I think Hulu Plus is better, and they have the live TV.
Yeah, but still, everything about their
I'll give them a
so
fair
annoying.
shake because we could upgrade on that one. But the Peacock app,
is fantastic,
and the content that you can get on it.
Well, it is NBC,
totally
so like you would hope that like they would get their shit together.
Paramount is Paramount Movies and CBS.
I know, but Paramount Movies are not doing well. The movies aren't doing
well.
No, but
Peacock
anyways,
is the way to go.
Peacock. The quality of the documentary in general hooks you from the second. Like some of these documentaries, you're like, all right, where are we going with this? What's going on? Hooked from the first second. The quality is amazing. And so it literally is called, the title is called Who Killed Robert Wone? And if you haven't seen or if you haven't heard about it, or if you just don't want to watch, we'll give you a quick synopsis. But it's one of the craziest true crime documentaries I've watched in a while.
True.
I would say. And I feel like I watch a lot of true crime. I listen to it.
Very true.
I know I talk a lot about my recommendations, especially on, Instagram and stuff. But, some people have asked, especially for a case like this, where it's like, there's a lot of ways it can go. And it's still unsolved to this day. And it happened in 2006. And it's still unsolved. And I feel like I've listened to so many podcasts and stuff that I've heard, or I feel like I've listened or like at least heard about so many different cases that it's like, oh, I've literally never heard of this. And I think there always is too, when you listen to a case or like you hear about a case that's unsolved, it's like, it's always hard. Like, Unsolved Mysteries was a big show.
Yes.
And even like sometimes I didn't like watching it because it's like at the end, you're like, well, who the fuck did it? Like that's so...
Probably your neighbor.
Yeah.
Or someone you know.
Or your partner, your
someone
lover.
That's going to murder you.
But it is, like it's sometimes like annoying to watch because you're like, okay, well, like where do we go from here? Like it's kind of annoying that you don't know what happens. But this case is so worth it because it is so wild that it is a must watch. And even you'll leave just like wanting to have an in-depth discussion or listen to this podcast about it. But basically what happens is it takes place in Washington, D.C. And this man who worked for, basically it was, I think it's like Asia Free Press or Asia Press. Let me see exactly. Nope. Radio Free Asia. What did I say? Asia Free. Close enough. Radio Free Asia, which is a United States government-funded news service that broadcasts online news for audiences in Asia. So it also has close ties to CIA. He's high up, basically, at this company. And he has some friends that live in Washington, D.C. And randomly one night, he was working late and decides to stay with these three friends at their condo townhome in Washington, D.C. And they are gay. They're technically kind of in a polyamorous relationship, these three men, but not Robert. Robert, from what they're telling us, was completely straight. He was married, and just like a super, super nice guy. Like everyone was just like gleaming about him. He had no enemies.
I think it's important to say too that one of the guys that he stays with is one of his best friends from college.
Yeah.
And is also a very prominent attorney in Washington, D.C.
Right. So basically he gets to these guys, his friend's house, where again, these other three guys were staying. And within 79 minutes, he was stabbed 3 times. And it's still unsolved. So the craziest thing, I wrote down a couple things that makes this case so insane. So again, it's a little over an hour, 79 minutes by the time he arrives and by the time 911 comes to the scene. The second craziest thing is he was stabbed 3 times in the chest, but they were super, super clean stabs. So there was no self-defense wounds. There was no, like, the room wasn't a mess. Like, he wasn't fighting back. Like, he was literally stabbed 3 times in this bed in their guest room. He was by himself in this guest room. And so he basically, like, there's the only way he would be stabbed that cleanly 3 times is if he was paralyzed or just, like, was not moving. And he did have needle marks and, like, injection marks on him. And of course, the defense was like, well, they had to try and stab him in the ambulance to try and get him to resuscitate him. But, like, there was way more.
They did say that they accounted for all of those. So
Yeah.
there were
some that were
unaccounted for needle marks.
But there were some that were unaccounted for. And the three guys that were staying at the, that owned the townhome, so were that actually living in that townhouse, when they called 911, they basically said that they heard some grunting, went into the guest room where Robert was staying, found him dead, called 911, and the 911 call was really weird. Like, they were kind of like going in and out from acting like, like they're, oh my God, my friend was just stabbed, versus being like kind of acting normal-ish or like not acting scared. And when they arrived, all 3 men were wearing these white robes and looked like they had just showered. Like they had stepped out of a spa. And it was like, well, the police were like, huh, that's kind of weird. And also another weird thing too is where Robert was stabbed is like his chest was completely clean. So there wasn't as much blood as you would normally think if you ever been stabbed in the chest 3 times. But of course there was like, the defense was like, well, if he was stabbed right in the heart, it could have been internal bleeding. But it was just weird of like, the whole scene was just so weird. And also these guys, the 3 guys that lived there were like, oh, it was an intruder. It had to be an intruder. It had to be an intruder. Because apparently the back door was left a little bit open. But they live in these townhomes and there's like, it would be really hard for someone to jump the fence, not make noise, not wake them up, not wake up the neighbors, come into the house and leave, again, this small amount of time. And, apparently also, paralyze him and then stab him and then leave. And he also, too, where the guest bedroom that Robert was staying in was like upstairs and kind of in the back. So the intruder would have had to like go past the other roommates, go to Robert's room specifically, again, without making any noise, paralyze him, stab him 3 times, leave without leaving any evidence, without stealing anything. Nothing was misplaced. Like, if it was an intruder, you would think he would have stole something or like, I don't know. The last craziest thing about the whole case that like sent people spiraling, and what kind of sent me and I feel like a lot of like conspiracy people spiraling, is that they found like over 1,000 sex toys in the house. And they found semen in Robert's anus. And he had his own semen on him. So, there's, I was listening to some other podcasts because I'm like, oh, I need to hear what other people think. And some people were like, oh, maybe it was like some like sex cult and Robert knew too much. And, these guys plotted it and planned it. And, but again, all of Robert's friends, these guys, they were all like, Robert's completely straight. He's happily married. There's no way. James, what are your initial thoughts now that I just gave?
That was a wonderful recap, by the way.
Thank you.
And I always tend to follow a little bit, even though I'm crazy, a little bit of logic. Right?
I know. Well, you always say Occam's razor.
How did you know I was going to say that?
I know, because you always say that with true crime stuff.
Which is typically the simplest answer is usually what's true. There's different versions of it.
But there's no simple answer with this. Like, any way that he was done, it was done crazy.
Absolutely. And they haven't solved it. And
yeah, they still haven't solved it.
When you watch this, our wonderful listeners, I want you to gather your own evidence. That's my first challenge, because there is so many offshoots for this, and
so many.
And some of the other, I'm going to stick with just the quality of the programming for a second, but I'll get into it.
Yeah.
They have both of the attorneys, the prosecutor and the head defense attorney, that they interview throughout the show and go back and forth. And it's wonderful to hear the banter between the two of them.
Yeah.
And one of the things that leads me to Occam's razor is at the very end. The defense attorney, who you could tell is just
their defense
brilliant.
attorney, who's one of the best defense attorneys in the
Washington,
country.
D.C. He's one of the best in Washington, D.C., as we all know.
Who's defending, when he says defense lawyer, he was defending the 3 men that were in the house that of course, everyone was like, yeah, they had to have killed him, obviously.
And they weren't on trial for murder.
Right.
They were on trial for conspiracy to cover up, or what's the other phrase? Either cover up or oh my gosh, everyone knows what this is.
I'm blank. Yeah, but basically,
we'll find the word. Someone else has it in their head. Yeah. Basically, obstruction of justice.
Obstruction of justice. Yes.
So he, at the very, very end, I'm not going to give it away. He does. Yeah. The defense attorney says something that will make you think, oh, wow. Yeah. So even when he says that at the very end, that's what leads me back to, okay, where are the logical points in this? I adore you even used the phrase conspiracy theory, so I don't say that in a bad way.
Right.
And the CIA angle and all those things, I still think are very possible, because when you watch it, the crime itself was so odd and so well covered up. That something happened.
Yeah.
Again, it was one of his good friends from college, who's a very prominent attorney in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, these are smart people. But they all work in Washington.
Was kind of, as the cop said from the beginning of the show, he's this guy who is his friend that is a prominent attorney in Washington, D.C., was in charge when talking to the cops.
Yeah.
So in other words, if there was a cover-up, this guy's going to know what to do.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, this had been well planned if it was.
As you gather the details, you have to figure out what the possibilities are.
Right.
But there are so many. And it's such a weird mystery, and there's so many wormholes that you can go down as to this.
It's just weird, like the semen in his butt, it's like,
and it's his own.
And like someone was like, well, he could have just like, shook the ugly stick before bed.
And how does it get in your butt though?
It seeps in your butthole.
Do you pay attention to male anatomy at all?
Well, maybe he was like feeling a little frisky, and he just wanted like, he's like, oh, maybe a little on the back.
Well, maybe there's something I don't know about. But here's the other part that I want our listeners, when you please listen to this.
Please listen.
It's really good. You'll be entertained.
Yeah, no, please watch it.
The other part of it that I think is very intriguing has to do with some of the other people that they're interviewing.
Yeah.
There are 2 podcasters. Total side note. I think that some of my favorite show, Only Murders in the Building, that's on Hulu, which we didn't like Hulu, but I think Only Murders in the Building
should be on this case.
I think the show is based on those two guys a little bit.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough. So anyway, there are 2 actual podcasters that have mostly only podcasted about
true crime.
This. So about this case.
This case.
That's what started it. So I want to watch what those 2 have to say.
I know. Yeah,
they're apparently experts on the case.
Yep.
And the other thing that I think is extremely interesting is really the part is when you're watching the possibilities that could have happened. It really just points to there's so little unknown. There's no evidence on anything.
Well, right. Like they did a great job covering up like the murder weapon itself, which like the kind of went back and forth on what it, could actually be, but it was like from their own house, like the knife that was found near him, it was like it was from their house. So it's like if an intruder was coming in to kill someone or to rob you, like you would think you would come prepared and like bring one,
Here's the other thing to pay attention to, and I'm not going to give this away, but when you watch it, you will see a part where the police completely fumbled.
Oh yeah, and the police fuck
and it's
up
a well-known thing, but they make a huge error.
Yeah, that could have.
That is something to definitely watch out for.
I will say one of the conspiracy theories too is that because Robert worked for a this free press for Asia government funded news agency, he was really high up. This branch worked really close with the CIA. So, of course, there's all these conspiracy theories. Maybe he, everyone kept talking about how great of a guy he was, and he just wanted to make a difference and wanted to do really good things. And this Press for Asia was doing a lot of like exposing North Korea, exposing communism. And it was like maybe he pissed off the wrong person, but this person, because they had to have like targeted him. Like there's no way this was just like a random intruder that just walked in, stabbed some random guy, as clean as possible and left. So anyways, you must watch it. And let me know your thoughts. This is one of those where you're like, who do you think did it? And I will say, I think we should okay, skip the next 30 seconds if you don't want to know who we think did it. But
plug your ears and go
plug your
la
ears
la la la
for the
la
next
la
30
la
seconds.
la.
I think Dylan, one of the roommates, did it. Who lived in the house. And there's like, again, something weird going on with their polyamorous relationship. There was some jealousy, maybe. And I think it was an accident, and then they had to cover it up. What do you think? Who do you think?
I mean,
same guy. Yeah. And basically it's what the defense attorney.
You know what I would say.
Yeah.
Please cover your ears. Here's the other, if we want to stick on the conspiracy theory angle.
Yeah.
I'll give one. If it has to do with the CIA,
Yeah.
I don't think it's the CIA.
Well, right. It's like the North Korea,
I would think, yep.
Or like someone from the from China, Communist Party who was like, he was trying to put up the story, or write the story and get it in the press. And
there could be a lot of reasons why he was killed, but not the roommates. But the roommates were influenced enough to say,
right, maybe the roommates
you
are
cover
paid
this
off,
up, or we're going to make it look like you.
Yeah, right.
They don't need to pay him off. And here's the other point I was going to make that I missed.
Yep.
When you're watching this, think critically about what's the motive.
Right.
That was
that's
really
the thing
tough
is
to
figuring
pinpoint.
out what the motive is.
It was really tough to figure out.
It's like he doesn't have any enemies. Like these are his friends. And it's just very weird. It's really, really a crazy case. And it's a good like discussion case because it is like
my recap.
Yeah.
Peacock is awesome.
Peacock is awesome. We were so impressed. And now we've been watching Peacock.
Watch it to find the motive.
Yep.
Pay attention to all the people they interview, because the people that are so involved in the case.
Yeah, don't be on your phone. Get off your phone.
It's really interesting to find out more about the people that they are interviewing on this case. And then at the end, try and come to your own conclusion. Gather, look at all the different evidence.
Yeah, and
you can have fun doing that.
Yeah, and then let us know what you think, so I can spiral about it. But anyways, yeah, hats off to Peacock. If you want to sponsor the podcast, that'd be something to think about. Peacock, something to think about. Anyways, transitioning to speaking of pranks and conspiracies. So I wanted to give some more light to this because I was talking a little bit about it on my Instagram stories, but
someone brought this up to you now. How did this happen?
Basically, I saw this TikTok about a girl who's talking about how crazy this story was on the radio. They were listening to was like a War of Roses, which anytime you're listening to the radio and they're saying, oh, we're going to bring on this person who's going to tell this crazy story about this date, or we're bringing on, someone thinks they're cheating. We're doing the War of the Roses is a really popular segment that a lot of radios do. And someone had brought up this story is insane. Like, how are these people real? And the answer is they're not real. And someone was fighting me on this because I was saying that it is illegal to record someone without their consent. And someone was like, well, no, there are some laws in my state that you can record someone without their consent. And yes, you could, there are some scenarios where you can legally do that, but you can't then go and post it on a paid radio service where they're making money off of you and broadcast it to hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people. That's illegal. And even if you were getting consent, why would you think, if you just got caught cheating and caught, doing an affair and you look like an idiot, why would you be like, yeah, no, please do go post that for hundreds of thousands of people on the radio, on radio, so everyone knows, and give your full name and where you work and stuff. No one is going to do that. So what they do is they hire voice actors. And during the pandemic and before the pandemic, I got hired by a very large radio company. Excuse me. And I will say, in the beginning, when I first started doing this, 4-5 years ago, they were paying, it was $50 for half an hour. So you would get $50 for every half an hour, and they would basically give you these scripts the night before. I'd have these parts I'd have to play, and then it would be the next morning I'd have to jump on the call at 6 a.m., 6:10, 7, it's between normal 6 and 9. Sometimes even earlier, I'd be up like 5 if it was like a West Coast. And they'd give $50. And by the end of it, they were like, we're giving $25 now. And like, they might need you for a full hour, because they're normally like, they bring you back on. They, there's always like multiple parts. Like, hold on, we're going to get her side of the story after this commercial break and after this song. So they're trying to get you obviously to stay on and listen to the radio. So, radios are obviously not doing great, but, those are all scripted. And unless you're just calling in that you like won a ticket, or like, you're calling in to be like, hey, I love Q97.9 or whatever, those obviously are real. But anything that's like, yeah, we're going to find out if, Rosie's husband is cheating with her trainer, those are all scripted. Normally, actually, sometimes the radio itself will write them. And a lot of times they get changed last minute, like, or they like have you improv a little bit. Like, they'd be like, feel free to go off. But like, sometimes some of them, like, James will be in the other room and I'm like, Brad, I can't believe you're screwing Stacy. And there are obviously all these rules too. Like, you can't swear, you can't say certain things. And like, if you're going to bring on someone who just found out that they were cheated on, like, this is a lot of times it's live. So like, or they don't have time to edit it. So it's like, you can't bring on someone random and hope that they're not going to drop the F word or like drop something crazy. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no way that they could do it with real people. And, yeah, so I thought that was something that most people knew, that like those are fake. And I don't even listen to the radio anymore. So like, I forget that people even listen to the radio. But I thought that was a little fun fact that not a lot of people know, that those are all scripted. And sometimes they are really good. Like, sometimes they get you hooked in. But like, if you really listen, you're going to be like, there's no, you're like, a lot of times you will be like, what? There's no way that person would fall for it, which is the other thing. Like, who else is picking up their phone at like 8 a.m. from some random number, especially like the War of the Roses one, which is the idea is that you think your partner's cheating. So the radio station will call your partner pretending to be a flower shop and say, hey, you won some free flowers. Who would you like to send it to? And you're going to pick up and be like, oh, I won some free flowers? Yeah, I'd love to send it to the man I'm having an affair on my husband with. Like, if you got a call that said, hey, you won some free roses, you're going to be like, what? No, I didn't. Like, you hang up on them, or you just wouldn't pick up, So it's like, I know. And I'm sorry that I have to ruin that for a lot of people, because a lot of people actually were very upset, because they're like, I literally live, breathe, and die by those radio segments. And like, I will stay in the car to listen to what happens, but I'm sorry to tell you that it's all scripted and all fake and all actors. I know, James. James is so upset. Everything is a lie, guys. I think that's the other thing when you get into like the entertainment world is
I'm not upset about
nothing is real.
I'm not upset about that being a lie.
What? What are you upsetting about?
Realize what you've done?
What? You were gonna have a flower shop call me?
No, I don't know if you understand the gravity of what you just did.
What?
Didn't we just talk about an attorney that worked for a radio show and then got murdered?
Well, they're not working for a
radio. Now you're throwing these radio shows under the bus.
Well,
and if you wake up with 3 stab wounds,
these aren't government funded.
Now we know why. We just go through a whole murder story where the guy worked. You can't fight radio. What did you do? Oh boy.
I'm gonna have to edit this out. Well, I always do worry, because like, you do sign something that's like, you won't, because like, obviously, like,
you mean called a non-disclosure?
Yeah, I did sign an NDA. So, oops. But I didn't name the company.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I didn't say, like, some people were like, tell me where you were on. Like, I can't. But like, if you ever do listen closely, because I'm sure they probably replay some of them, you might hear my voice.
You're just going to keep pressing this till you get murdered, aren't you?
Until I get murdered. But yeah, I probably did like over 200 of them. So I've got to be out there and all over the country. Like, I would do them in Washington. I did a bunch, like, funny enough, in Wisconsin.
You're going to have to go into like witness protection.
Witness protection. I doubt that. Oh. Well, I just thought that most people didn't know that. I forget that, like, that is. And I remember when I first found out that this was a thing, I was like, oh, really? I didn't know that these were fake. But then I I remembered that everything is a lie and to believe no one. So sorry if I just ruined your week.
You liked Jerry Springer too, didn't you?
Yeah, I hate to tell you guys too, but that's another thing. Like, I was going to talk about Love is Blind today a little bit, but like, I hate to tell you, but like, all of those are so fake. Like, we end up hating people and like like so much of that is just
next thing
so
you're going to
fake.
tell me is The Bachelorette is fake. Too.
No, I would never. That's so real. It's love. It's true love, James. I would never. So James, what do you think? We got a bunch of good secrets today. What do you think about getting into some secrets, getting into some weird shit?
Let's go deep.
Let's go deep. All right, guys, this next segment is one of our favorite segments. It is the weird secret voicemails. Obviously, we love doing the weird secrets. I have done it on social media where you guys, anonymously tell us your weird shit. What?
Don't forget, if somebody would like to see secrets live,
course.
they could come to one of your shows.
Oh my God, I know. I was getting
perhaps
so excited.
That's something we do.
That is something we do.
Do you have any live shows coming up?
I do, James. Oh, you're so cute. I do. I have Maine.
I think that's called a transition. What did I do there?
Transition.
Okay, good.
Great transition.
Did I interrupt you,
James? Shut up! Shut up!
What's a planned interruption called? Funny.
Shut up.
This is pretty good.
Shut up. Interrupting cow.
Moo.
Classic. So I'm going to be performing at Moxie in New York City on 4/20. So I better see you guys high as a kite, giggling your butts off at Moxie. All these tickets will be available at SamanthaRamsdell.com. Sorry to burp.
That was not.
I'm sorry, I had to burp and it was holding, and I just pushed it really quick. We did not
hit like a burp button either.
I know.
We don't have.
I don't have to because I am a burping son
impressive.
of a bitch. SamanthaRamsdell.com/events. So for New York City, April 20th. Then I will be in Maine, May 21st, a Sunday. The 7 p.m. show is sold out, but we just opened at 9 p.m. So if you want to get down, get real weird. By the 9 p.m. show, it's going to get like really, really weird. Tickets are still available for the 9 p.m. show. And then also coming to Texas, Austin, the city of weird, on June 4th. And that is also a Sunday. Again, tickets available at SamanthaRamsdell.com/events. I can't wait to see you guys in person. James will be there. We'll do some weird secrets.
True.
We of course do a weird challenge at the end. I of course probably will shove something in my mouth. There's stand-up. I'll do stand-up, which is a lot of people are like, what do you do?
You're doing songs too, right?
I do some songs, some funny songs.
Maybe some more skits.
Yep. It's basically a hodgepodge of weirdness and giggles and LOLs. So get your tickets. We can't wait to see you. And we'll be hanging out after the show too. So we'd love to meet you. We'd love to lick your face. All right.
What?
No, I don't know.
Is that part of it now?
Yeah. If you want me to lick your face, I will.
So many new things I don't know.
I feel like
about.
you know what I mean. You gotta do what you can to get the folks buying ticks. But with our weird secrets, again, if you want to send us a weird secret, you can go to Speak Pipe. And I guess forever people thought you were saying speed pipe. So I do feel like I have to say Speak Pipe.
I'll go slower.
It's Speak, SPEAKPIPE.
Oh, my mispronunciation might have cost us some calls.
I know. People are like trying to go to Speed Pipe. They're like, it's like a porn
terrible.
site. Speakpipe.com/weird-and-proud-pod, all one word. It's also in the link. It'll be in the description of the podcast too, if you forget. But you can leave us an anonymous voicemail up to 1 minute and 30 seconds and tell us something weird you do, something embarrassing. Really, we got into some paranormal shit. As long as it has a hint of weird, we're into it.
Give us some weird recommendations to go down a rabbit hole on.
Oh, yeah. If you got like a weird other conspiracy theory or something, you know how we feel about that.
Or something we should watch as long as it's not on Paramount.
I feel like I've seen, as long as it's, or Hulu's pissed me off. Yeah. Just leave it. when in doubt, just leave it on the voicemail. All right, here we go, James.
Oh, hi. No, I'm not gonna tell you my name. I have been just listening to Weird and Proud all day at work and on my drive home. And I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna send the voicemail. I'm gonna tell you that Sam, I also struggle with biting my nails. I also am a really bad skin picker. Like pimples, scabs, anything. I actually will, eat my scabs. I think it's natural. It's a part of me. Is it cannibalism? Who's to say? Um, when I was little, I used to bite my toenails and like chew on them. I don't really swallow my nails anymore if I bite them off, but I do I like to chew on them for a little bit and just like feel how they look. If it's like a satisfying peel of nail. And then the scab thing, I know it's weird. It's gross. You guys are the only ones who know. I did tell my doctor, but they didn't seem to think it was that big of a deal. Anyway, thanks.
Are we the same person? Are we literally the same person? Hi, my name's Sam, and I also do every single thing you just said. Yeah, girl. Yeah, I feel ya. Why? Because my nails are stubs. I've been picking out all my eyelashes. That's a new fun thing for me. I bite the inside of my cheeks. I've debated this. I'm like, am I a cannibal? Because I do love eating myself. I love to eat myself. I will eat me all day. I will eat it. I'll suck on it. I'll chew it. I don't spit. I swallow myself. I literally swallow myself, and I like it and I enjoy it and I get joy out of it. What does that say about me? I don't know, except that I'm mentally ill. Anything you'd like to add to that, James?
I was trying to remember the term. There's some terms for it.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of terms. It's called psychotic.
Dermatophagia.
Yeah, or there's like trichotillomania.
And then there's another one. They do call. I did find it's called auto cannibalism. So she brought up cannibalism.
I feel like I could be a cannibal. I feel like I'm definitely a cannibal.
Dermatillomania. I have to look that one up.
There's like trilomania too, where you pick your hair and pick stuff.
That was an awesome call.
Yeah, that was awesome because I feel
about
validated.
Weird and Proud. That defined
pretty much.
We might have to put that.
I love to taste my own blood.
Yeah, that could be. You could do like a weekly feature of a call in and post it on Instagram.
This is it. You're calling in. This is where it is.
That is definitely
this is
weird,
where the people
and I'm
come.
glad you're proud of it.
I love you. You know what?
How do you?
There's light at the end of the tunnel. I think.
I realize that there's a lot of people that are a lot more flexible than I am.
I love to bite my toes. I used to bite my toes.
Toenails.
I used to eat my toenails too. I used to eat my toenails, but now I can't do it anymore. But when I was little, I used to eat my toenails. Yep. And I still don't spit. I swallow because I'm a winner and I don't quit. And that's for sure. What's up, James? What are you gonna say? Anything?
Nothing.
Okay. I love you.
That was amazing.
Thank you so much. And know that you're not alone. We're all just out here trying to eat ourselves. Love you. All right. Here's the next one. Let's go.
Hi, Sam and James. Coming at you from the Great White North. That's as detailed as I'll get about that. Love you guys. I've only really recently discovered you on Instagram and have found myself here with your podcasts, which are great. So I wanted to share my secret that nobody knows yet. I work in a rather large building. I work in an arena, actually, and our offices are not close to any washrooms. So sometimes I really got to go. And if I'm the last one in the office or the only one in the office, I will pee in a garbage can. I find an empty one, I squat over it, I pee, use some tissue. We do have a sink in our office, so I do pour it down the sink. I do rinse it. I clean the garbage can. But I know it is kind of gross. I do it at least once a week. It's just easier. When you gotta go, you gotta go.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
We've been blessed with callers today.
We've been blessed.
That was a one.
Yeah.
Oh, Canada.
Yes. Oh my God. Also, I might be coming to Canada in
home
August.
and native. Yeah, that's one. I think Oh Canada kicks the living crap out of our national anthem.
Totally.
Yeah. Oh Canada is great.
Way better.
Hope all is going well up there. And I'm gonna guess. I'm just gonna throw it on a limb. I work at an arena. Ice skating.
I'm gonna say it's a hockey.
Yeah. Which
what
involves ice skating.
Canadians, right? Isn't that a hockey team? It's called the Canadians.
There is one.
Hell yeah!
Do you
Look
know
at me,
where
sports girl.
Do you know which city they're in? Real
Canadian
sports
city?
girl. It's actually in the one that you talk about
Montreal?
the most. Yes, Montreal Canadiens.
Bitches. That's right.
Do you know any fun facts about the Montreal Canadiens?
Montreal has some great strip clubs.
No. Montreal, the Canadiens, the hockey team.
Oh, what?
They've won more Stanley Cups than any other.
Wow, what do you
NHL
know?
team.
People who are literally raised as children to play hockey have the best hockey team. Wow, that's a big shocker. I love that you're peeing. Listen, you gotta go. You gotta go. And you sound like you're hurting anyone. So pee away, girl. You're cleaning it out. You're being safe. Good for you.
I thought you were
on the company dime.
I thought you were gonna say European, and I was gonna say Canada's not
you're
Europe.
Canadian. You're a Canadian. I love that. Pee away. You know what?
Good for you.
Yeah, you should be peeing on the company's dime and in the company's trash can.
She's saving them money for not walking all the way across.
You're welcome. I'm saving
such
you water.
a good worker. Hey, we'll send a write-up if you're looking to get a raise.
Or
we'll let
you
them
should
know
make like a
doing.
custom pecan.
With stickers on it.
With stickers. It says pee on my face. I love you. Thank you so much for calling in. That was gorgeous and stunning. And we're obsessed with you. And we love Canada. Hopefully.
Big fan of Canada.
Big fan of Canada. Can't wait to visit, hopefully. All right. I'm going to do one more because my laptop looks like it's dying and I'm an idiot and forgot to charge it. All right. This one's short too. I'm kind of nervous. The short ones make me nervous, but here we go.
One time I finally hooked up with the person that I was in love with my entire childhood, and so I was so excited, and then mid-thrust, he told me I looked like his mom.
No.
So,
no.
If he's mid-thrust saying that, is he thinking about his mom?
Well, yeah, James. That's great. Conducive. Akram's late razor.
It is the simplest explanation, but that's the messed up part.
Right.
Why are you even considering such things?
Do you ever think about Kathy? Your mom? I'm sorry, Kathy, don't listen to this.
That's
that's repulsive. That's repulsive.
Poor
very,
girl.
Very scary.
Hey, at least she got what an easy way to get over somebody.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say at least you
now you don't have to obsess about him anymore.
Yeah, goodbye. Good day. Good day. I'm sorry you went through that, but you know what? At least you weed out the weak, you know?
Exactly.
Well, those were some great secrets. We love you guys so much. We love when you send these in to us. And remember, you can go to speakpipe.com/weirdandproudpod to send us your own weird secret, whether something you do, something someone does, you know, whatever. Send it to us.
Hey,
whatever. If you eat yourself, pee somewhere.
Exactly.
Your boyfriend told you to look like your boyfriend.
Peeing in garbage cans to save the company dime. I mean, Canadians are efficient.
They really are. We love Canadians. Also, remember to go to SamanthaRamsell.com/events or tell me where you want to see me. You know, like let a girl know. We love you guys so much. We hope you had an amazing Easter, Passover, Ramadan, all the things.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. We love you so much. We'll see you next week. Also, remember to subscribe wherever you're watching this or listening to this. Subscribe, follow, give it a thumbs up, comment, say, wow, this was riveting stuff. We love you so much. Have a great week. We love you, weirdos.
Bye. Miss you guys.
Miss you already.